Hey everybody, Phil Talon here. Looking forward to talking about the moving image as we move into film studies and learning how we can listen to what Hollywood is saying through its movies and how to respond as cultural apologists. This takes us from the world of visual art, ancient Christian art, modern art, into the dominant form of narrative storytelling in our world, which is the Hollywood film. So, to begin with, cultural apologetics, as Gould defines it, is the work of establishing a Christian voice, conscience, and imagination within a culture so that Christianity can be seen as true and satisfying. And this has a couple different aspects. One is by paying attention to how those within a culture perceive, think, and live, and then working to create a world that's more welcoming and thrilling and beautiful and enchanted. So listening well and then responding. There's a local component as well, which is that we want to remove obstacles and provide positive reasons for faith so that folks will see Christianity as true and satisfying, plausible, and desirable. And so part of this is the work of doing what Paul does on Mars Hill, sort of quoting people's poets, and being bridge builders to find points of common interest to make the gospel come alive, make these gospel connections with folks. And we want to do this in conversation with film. Film studies applies in the global sense of cultural apologetics, attending to the form and content of one of the most popular storytelling mediums in the world by watching for the style, themes, ideas, longings, and goals presented in Hollywood storytelling so we can understand our culture better. And it applies in a local sense by using film as a way of identifying all those things and then showing how Christian theology can speak back. So we can critique as well as affirm, we can question and challenge. We can offer answers to the questions that folks have and solutions to the problems. So there are a number of different approaches to and postures to film. So Johnston lays out that there's this movement we see from avoidance to caution to dialogue and appropriation, divine encounter. And so these are mirrored in Niebuhr's Christ and Culture. And perhaps the simplest thing to say about this that progression from kind of closedness and skepticism to openness is that no one position is wrong in itself, and the danger often lies in the extremes. The cultural apologist should be interested in dialogue. The history of the church's relation to Hollywood is marked by openness, and then there's a lot of skepticism, and then cultural control through the Hays Code, and then increasing marginalization of the church's voice. And until now, basically, Christians are primarily interested in dialoguing with Hollywood, with some outbreaks of resistance. And so, and more than that, they've often joined in by creating their own films. One of the big themes that Gould points out is disenchantment as a prevailing cultural element, and this is has to do with how we see reality. So we, by default, often see the world as being disenchanted, kind of flattened. We're just stuck here in this material world, and the existence of God is questionable and often not felt, and that's a big issue and a big problem that we want to address. Over the last 3 centuries, as Gould points out, the richness of the sacred world has been replaced by materialism, and so there's this sense now that we live in a kind of an emptied out world where the old values and sense of meaning has been lost. And this dissatisfaction is present within Hollywood filmmaking, so it participates in that, but it also is often responding to it, trying to offer its own solutions. A couple of films that we are worth noting. So, for instance, in modern times, right at the beginning of Hollywood, we see Charlie Chaplin sort of dealing with working in the industrialized world, turned into a cog in a machine himself. And then in Rear Window, we see kind of a lonely, isolated person who's just peeping on others and who has skepticism about relationships. And the solution that Hollywood provides is romantic love. This is going to be the solution to our hero's problems. But maybe we have more to offer than that. And so as we think about offering solutions, we want to think about how we can offer the most meaningful solutions and awaken desire for a bigger story, a bigger solution than things that are down here in this imminent frame, and help people to see that true meaning is found in their desire and love for God.